Okay, we just go get right to it. These are the 5 things that I would do if I was a newly credentialed certified professional coder and was having trouble finding a job as a medical coder. So the first thing that I would do is to keep an open mind. I will consider everything, but be strategic about it. So let me explain. So what I mean by keeping an open mind is your best bet to get a position, in my opinion, would be locally, like your local clinics, your local labs, your local hospitals, healthcare systems, medical facilities that's in your local area. That would be the best chances for you to secure your first job. But most of those hospitals, clinics, what have you in your area will require you to either work on site or at least hybridly. And yes, it's our goal to work from home. We want, the convenience of being able to, just have a home office and work from there. But be open minded to accepting a position that has you to work on site, even if that job never offers the opportunity to work remotely, because you need something, especially as a newer credentialed medical coder, you need something on your resume that showcases that you have experience. And if this is the opportunity that is going to give you that experience, why not take it, even if it means working on site? So keep an open mind. Remote work is not the only choice in this situation. If you're able to work on site, you need to consider that option. So apply for jobs that's remote, but also apply for jobs that is on site. Also apply for jobs that offer hybrid working. So the second thing that I will do if I was a newly credentialed medical coder and I was having trouble finding a job as a medical coder is I would accept the entry level position, a position that's not credential or doesn't necessarily need credentials, a position that's not a medical coder, but it supports the revenue cycle. So I would go for payment postings, denial management, a medical biller, scheduling, customer service, front office work. I would do some medical records. I would do something that supports the business office, something that supports the revenue cycle that doesn't require me to have, a credential that utilizes the education level that I am at. That gets me in, gets my foot in the door. The purpose of taking the entry level position, one, is to get you experience working in the medical office to see how the revenue cycle runs. Two, it will probably give you exposure in some of these, positions that I'm referring to, probably give you exposure to the medical codes that we use, the ICD-10 codes, the CPT codes, and the HCPCS codes. And you can utilize that and report that on your resume as, experience working with the medical codes, because that is really important when you apply to these jobs as a medical coder. Three, you will probably be exposed to a billing EHR or EMR. So having that exposure, being able to maneuver the EHR is, good experience that you can also put on your resume and talk about in your interview. It also gives you a direct connect with possibly the medical coding department. So if you work for a facility that has multiple departments, that has everything broken up, and you work in, say, customer service, front office, denials or whatever, but that you also have a coding department in that same facility, that same clinic, you are, kind of putting your name out there, getting exposed to the medical coding department, getting a glimpse at how things are ran over there, but also getting to know your fellow coworkers and the supervisor in that department. So, get a good word in and show them your work ethic and already be a part of the system. So taking the entry level job, even though I know it's may not be the ideal pay, it definitely may not be the ideal work set, but if you have skills for it and you are able to, qualify for a job in the revenue cycle for something other than medical coding, but that supports medical coding, that gives you experience that you can transfer over to medical coding, then I suggest that you get an entry level job. And like I said, some of the ones are, I'll probably list them on the screen. Hopefully I can list them over here, but it'll be listed somewhere on the screen of some suggested keywords that you can look for when you are doing a job search. But don't sleep on the entry level job. That can take you places. It can open up doors for you that you need to get to your ultimate goal of being a medical coder. So the next suggestion I'm going to give you may be a little controversial, but I stand on it because I know it's worked for me. And this is to become important on accident. If you are a newly credentialed medical coder that is having trouble looking for a medical coding job, but you already have a job in the medical field, like in the front office, in the revenue cycle, in the business office, and something that has to do with medical coding, or that can like relate to the medical coding department, utilize that opportunity to become important on accident. And what I mean by this is, if you have the ability and the capability and the mental fortitude to take on an extra task or two to learn, do that. The more you know in medical coding, the more understand about the revenue cycle, the better you can become, in your coding job. So I would just suggest, like, if someone needs help in another area, and even if you don't know about that area, be willing and open to train in that area so that you can be someone that they can rely on when they need you. And if you have the capacity, you can be there to help. But again, it also helps you to understand how the whole revenue cycle works. So when you have that occasional weird situation in coding, you may have learned something or been exposed to something that another department utilizes or taught you that may benefit you in your coding role. You never know. Like, I could have been working somewhere in, denials management, and I was helping research certain denials or saw certain trends that I can now bring over into the coding department. It's like, oh, I know it's a trend on coders doing X, Y, and Z. So let me make sure that I'm catching that before I let the claim go out the door. Or if I'm working in scheduling and I notice that a lot of the patients are being entered in the system and they're picking the wrong you know, choice for a particular insurance. Say, for instance, it may be two insurances in the system, the same insurance, but spelt differently, or have a different payer code, or something on the back end that's different with these two payers. They may be the same, but they spelt a little differently. I noticed that in scheduling. Now that I'm in coding, when I see that wrong insurance option picked, I could just go up there and quickly change it to the right one because I was exposed to, a little nuance like that in the scheduling department that other coders may not know about it, but I know because when I was working in scheduling, I knew not to pick option number one for this particular insurance. I knew to pick the Blue Cross Blue Shield with the letter X at the end or something like that. So, like, you just pick up little tidbits from other departments that ultimately helps you out in your coding field. So I would just say, become important on purpose, learn as much as you can learn, be available, take on overtime if you're able to, just so you can get the knowledge. Because your goal right now is to not stop learning. Just because you got credential, you should not stop learning. This actually should be the time where you're trying to learn as much as you can so you can know ultimately where you want to settle up at the end of the day as a coder. What specialty you want to code, what departments you like. You're just trying to map out your career, and being exposed to different parts of the revenue cycle helps with that. Okay, so now the next thing that I would do if I was a newly credentialed medical coder, but I'm having trouble finding a medical coding job, is to apply for as many jobs as I possibly could. So I would actually create a job search strategy. I will come home from work and do whatever I had to do in my household. But at the end of the day, I will designate 3 to 4 hours or whatever I can spare. Even if it's just 1 hour, I would spare that, but I would try to make it a considerable amount of time. and I would apply for as many jobs during that time as I could. I would have set myself up a goal of maybe 5 to 8 jobs a day for maybe about and apply within the 4 hour window, just so that I can give myself a focus on applying to as many medical coders jobs. Like, the job search game is numbers. It's a numbers game. You have to put in a lot of resumes, probably get passed up on a lot of no's in order to land your dream job. So you have to do that, and that's going to take work because you really need to adjust your resume with every job position that you apply for. You should not use one standard resume for every job. You need to, or every position that you apply for, you need to tweak your resume a little bit to match the qualifications and the skills that each individual employer is asking for, to make the resume feel like you made it just for that position. Word the position the same way that is worded in their, in their qualification or in their job ad. So if they're saying that they want a coder level 1 coder, then you're somewhere on your resume, you should let them know that what you are looking for is a coder level 1 position. And make sure that your resume is very well optimized, meaning that in your header, when you have your name big and bold, also have big and bold your credential. When you don't have like a objective, have like a mission statement, or something like that, to let them know that you are here to secure a job in the revenue cycle or business office, and you are seeking to utilize your credential and your education, as long with your knowledge of working in medical records, working in scheduling, credentialing, whatever it is. But whatever your mission is for your career, that's how you should word that, and then start notating your relevant experience, and try not to put too much words down there, but try to pull out whatever skills you have possessed from each of these relevant jobs that matches some of the skills that they wish from their candidate online. So that's why I say your resume has to be personalized to each job, because if online they're telling you that they want someone that's work under a deadline, you need to show me how in job A you had to work under deadlines. If I tell you I want someone that has experience with, bookkeeping or experience with AR management, you need to tell me how job B gave you that experience in working in AR management. If I tell you I want someone that is highly organized, that communicates well, that follows up, you need to show me how job C helped you with your communication, how you know, spearheaded some kind of, like organizational task that you had to do that made a difference in your world. So you need to be very, very intentional with your resume at this point. But yes, apply for as many jobs, set a goal. The important thing is to set a goal. You're going to apply for 5 jobs in the next 2-3 hours every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever the case may be, 3 days a week. Make it multiple days a week, multiple hours a day, and multiple jobs that you're going to apply for. But you have to have a goal to put in as much time looking for a job as you did studying and trying to get your credential until you land your dream job. That's your job until you get your dream job, is to apply for jobs. Okay, now this 15 should not be a surprise to you, because if you guys are not new here, then you know what I'm about to say. But if y'all new here, welcome. My name is Kat, and I am a certified professional medical coder. I'm a medical auditor and a medical biller. And if I had to start all over again and I got newly credentialed and I was having trouble finding my dream medical coding job, I would network. I would network my butt off. And I say that wholeheartedly because I believe it 100% that it works. That's how I got pretty much most of my jobs. Almost all of my jobs was by networking, me knowing somebody in the field, and they put in a good word and put me on, help me to get, a position that I didn't know I even wanted. So networking is the key. If you are newly credentialed, you will soon learn that AAPC, AHIMA harps on networking so much. They've created chapters so that we can have time to network in the chapters. They create conferences so we can have a time to network. LinkedIn is all about networking. That's a professional networking, social media site. Networking events happen all the time on Eventbrite, on Meetup. Networking is key. Networking equals dollars. Networking equals your net worth. And that's real. And that's so real in medical coding. That's so real in any professional setting, profession. Like, you have to network. So get out there and network. I can't tell you how many networking opportunities have been beneficial coming from going to AAPC meeting and talking to someone, letting them know that you're out here in the job market, you're looking for an opportunity, and they definitely will keep you in mind when they are, get word about a job opportunity. And you may be talking to someone that may be looking for your skill set. You never know, so you need to network. Also, other fellow coders, fellow billers may know of opportunities, and come across someone. Just because this community is quite small, and you at different points in times, we talk to each other, we catch up, haven't seen each other in a while, tend to mention, oh, my department is short 3 coders, 2 billers, whatever. And you never know. Somebody could be like, oh, I just was at a meeting the other day, and one of the members that was telling me how they was looking for a job. And you mind if I, introduce you guys? Like, it's just that simple. So make sure you network, let everybody know that you are in the job market looking for your dream job, and, keep you in mind. So those are my 5 tips for anyone that is newly credentialed. You have your CPC or your CCS, your CCSP, or whatever medical coding credential that you just received. Congratulations. I suggest that you think about, a good job strategy and how you can make yourself available and make yourself marketable for these employers. There is a lot of work out here. There are a lot of opportunities for newly credentialed medical coders. You just really have to find it, and you have to put yourself out there. So, I just wanted to give you, some suggestions on some things that I would do if I had to start all over. So, those are my 5 tips. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. And until the next video, I'll talk to you later.